Our first DataChat Live. Welcome everybody, where data lovers talk governance, validation, decision-making, and more. We reserve the right to add anything on and append that as we see fit. Also, just before we jump in and talk to Jeremy, we do have a privacy panel with DMPG on June 29th. We'll be sending out information on that. We're basically teaming up with them to understand how the top 100 sites in the US, UK, and Australia are responding to third-party cookie restrictions. So that'll be a great panel on June 29th.
It always comes to light when it's a little too late. And that's why when we talk about pain points, we try to focus upstream. The privacy conversation, all of this came about because consumers had a specific demand, and governments, whether they were knowledgeable on the topic or not, had reactions, right? And they put the legislation in place, but it started with consumer demands.
A little bit about with Jeremy, and maybe Jeremy, talk to us a little bit about building out identities and more robust signals and using CDPs.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's definitely a space, like, admittedly, we're dipping our toes in the water, but at the same time diving in, like, if that makes sense, right? Yeah, it's a really important thing for us, is documenting that taxonomy and making sure that anybody has a reference, any of our clients have a reference guide as they evolve their organization and stick with something consistent.
Yeah, that's one of the things I remember from the very earliest days when I joined Omniture back in 2005, when we'd have customers roll out a great implementation, and it would be good for a month or 2 or 3, and all of a sudden cracks would start to seek in, and then people would start to question the data, and then all of a sudden 2 years had passed and nobody was even looking at the reports because they didn't trust them.
Let's talk about Adobe SDK. Cameron and Jeremy, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously something that I know that was aspirational back when I was at Adobe, to get off of these individual JavaScript files and tags and consolidate them in one tag to rule them all. And it looks like they're there.
One of the big efforts that we've been undertaking here over the last 6 months or so is significantly revamping our data structure models, how we're storing and how we're processing data, so that our reporting can be more insight driven. So that when a customer does have questions about how is this data looking, it's supposed to look like this, but it actually looks like this, kind of comparing reality to what the law is or what the standard is. We're working at getting a lot better at just providing that right out the gates. And so some of the things that we're working on, a lot of them have been released already. Some of them are coming very, very, very soon. Well, like we can see here, that none of the tags loaded slowly. They all loaded in less than 500 milliseconds. They all had success status codes. So that's great.
I feel like we've been having customers ask us for that for a little bit.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, so that's like a big win for us.
It is.
That's really cool. Nice work.
Got some pretty massive updates, some really significant and meaningful updates to the privacy report. So, saying which tags are approved or which cookies are approved to be on the site for this cookie domain or things like that. We are currently in the process of revamping that whole structure for consent category management, or I should say consent category management validation within our system. So there's some pretty big updates to that.